Today's online lesson snippet focuses on learning chord progressions by ear. Now, in this example, the student has been working on building an inventory of chords, inversions, various ways to play the chords, listening to chords, and then playing chords and playing lots of chord progressions in a lot of different songs in a lot of different various ways. So before you get to this stage, you really need to build to a point where you can start identifying. You can identify the quality of chords. You can identify, or you understand chords of the key, all of your major and minor triads, and then at that point, you can start working on harmonic or chord ear training. So in this case, we are working on listening to patterns the within the harmonic structure. And so what you'll notice throughout is I'm helping the student, kind of leading the student in discovering these things. And so hopefully you can take some of this wisdom with you and to help you either teaching or to learning on your own. Okay, so chord progressions. I'm going to play a progression and then you're going to figure out what the chords are. So that's chord progression. I'm going to play it again. All right.
So the first two have a relative note. It doesn't sound like 1 to 5, but I'm not sure yet.
Ooh, that's good. Two great things you're working with there. Common note. Now, it may not be 1 to 5, but it could be the 1 to 5 movement, meaning that 1 to 5 is a perfect fifth up or a perfect fourth down.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say you're right there. The movement is 1 to 5 if you think of it in terms of like just a movable do, not terms, but it's not. It's not 1 to 5 in terms of the key, but
The
that is
chord.
the movement. It is the movement. So
Okay.
all right, so you're definitely on track there. Let me play through the chord progression another couple times. It's interesting to see what you're listening for, though.
Pretty sure the second to last chord is a C. It sounds like it, but it could just be my internal pitch.
Mm-hmm. What other little things? Could be anything. We're just kind of noticing some things about the sound of the progression, and then we can dig into tonic and all of that. What was that last chord? Was there anything particular about that last chord? Does that strike you in any way?
I don't think that it's in the key.
Exactly.
It
Good.
doesn't sound in the key.
Mm-hmm. But it fits,
Right.
right? So it's one of those, things we talk about chord substitutions or
Mm-hmm.
borrowing a chord and stuff like that. Okay, so now let's work from there. You hear this, get the common tones. You hear kind of a 1 to 5 movement. You know the third chord is C. Well, how about what the second chord related to the third chord? Maybe that'll give you a clue.
It's hard.
I know. What is your first thought? We're talking about general movement. Yeah, can you hear any commonalities in movement or a pattern that you've heard before? You recognize the pattern of the first two chords.
The first three sounds like a soundtrack, but then the last chord isn't.
So a soundtrack like you.
From a video game.
Okay.
It
Okay.
reminds me of a
Yeah.
video game soundtrack, but
Oh,
then
that's
the last
interesting.
chord is different.
Yeah. So a lot of in composition technique. I can't do. I can't really explain it without giving you the answer. But I'm gonna play through something to kind of give you maybe another hint.
If the first chord was the one chord, it sounds like 1 to 4.
Exactly. 1 to 4. 1 to 4 movement, and when you repeat it, when you keep repeating that, what are you doing? You're going through the cycle. You're going through the cycle of keys, not the circle of fifths or the sharps. You're going backwards. You're going 1 4 instead of 1 to 5.
Mm.
You can listen to what I just played, and you can hear the first three chords are in a pattern, not just the first two, the first three, and then the fourth chord is kind of a substituted chord. But then you can figure out what that chord is based off interval or based off, kind of hearing the distance. So I want you to listen to the first three chords this time. So if your best guess is the third chord is C, which you are correct, what do you think the first two chords are if we're going through the cycle and landing on C?
So F and then
F to C, right? Okay. All right. So what gets us to F?
B flat.
B flat. Okay. So what are our first three chords? Just based off hearing this cycle of chords.
B
And
flat, F, C.
okay. Now we just got the fourth chord. We could do this a lot of different ways. We could have gone through and figured out what is tonic, and then let's just kind of work our way through all of that. But this is a better way, right? You're hearing a pattern, which is the cycle. So we have. But then you could figure it out that way. You could go from the third to the fourth chord and kind of work your interval, right? Using the bass note. Or you could hear the fourth chord leading to the first chord. All right. So that's what I want you to listen to.
E flat.
E flat. That's right. And there's some exercises actually that would really help you with that, just doing the cycle in your left hand. A lot of stuff that I actually give to my beginning jazz students that would help you with cycle of keys. But that'll help you with the stuff that you're working on too. So yes, so what is the chord progression?
B flat, F, C, E flat.
Okay. And what's the chord quality in all these?
It sounds like they're all major, but I don't feel like it is.
It is. Yeah. You're like you want to find that there's a minor chord somewhere usually, but that's what makes it a cool progression as well. It's very, very bright and has this kind of it stands out. Usually, if you just have major chords, it's going to be kind of boring, but because there's that outside chord, it really brightens up the chord progression.